when we say about same-sex marriages, many people say that कि ये हमारी सभ्यता के खिलाफ है.
There is no data to prove that demanding for same-sex marriage is an urban elitist demand.
हम हर जगह से प्रोग्रेस कर रहे हैं इंडिया, so why not this?
Supreme Court coming in, intervening and bringing up laws or rules is a breach of power and is an acute case of judicial overreach.
लेजिस्लेचर का भी ओपिनियन इसमें आना चाहिए क्योंकि वो पूरी कंट्री को रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं, लेकिन जो फाइनल डिसीजन है वो जुडिशरी का ही अंडर में है.
Just so you can frame a sentence or two in English and argue in court doesn't mean that you represent the interests of the majority.
Earlier we were resistant towards removing triple talaq, but we came over that as well.
Welcome to New India Junction. Today we are at Lodhi Gardens and having a discussion on same-sex marriages. Should they be legalized in India or not? And I have few students with me, so let's see and let's introduce them.
Hi guys, my name is Devnit Chaudhary. I come from Assam and I'm currently studying at the University of Delhi.
Hi guys, my name is Sanidhya Sumani. I come from Rajasthan and I'm currently studying at JIMS Vasant Kunj.
Hi guys, my name is Tushar Vora. I am from GIMS College and I'm pursuing BGMC.
Hi guys, my name is Tarang Loya. I am from Delhi and right now I am pursuing Bachelor of Journalism Mass Communication from JIMS Vasant Kunj.
So India is on its way to decide fate of same-sex marriages. What are your views on this?
Right, so before I'm being termed as homophobic or transphobic, I'd like to put it on record that I stand shoulder to shoulder with the transgender community, be it in upholding or supporting the Navjot Singh Johar verdict of the Supreme Court judgment, or be it in upholding the right to privacy verdict of the K. Puttaswamy judgment. Now, having said that, I for one cannot pass comments on a Supreme Court proceeding that is ongoing now, but I can obviously point out some observations that I feel are necessary as a student to be put out there. First, marriage being a socio-legal institution of society has been practiced as a socio-religious and also a cultural norm that has been practiced for time immemorial. Although the Special Marriages Act does not step into the personal law domain, I feel that this proceeding is a grave injustice to those transgenders who seek relief in the domain of personal laws. That is to say that if there are transgenders out there who would like to be emancipated in their personal law domain, would like their social religious beliefs to be transformed or their personal laws to be reformed in a sense so that they could pursue marriage, same-sex marriage, I feel this particular proceeding that is being confined just to the Special Marriages Act of 1954 is a grave injustice to those transgenders who are being denied their social, religious and cultural rights in the form of their personal laws. So extending upon that argument, I would like to say that it is then we come to this, navigation, having to navigate between Article 14, which is right to equality, and also Article 25, which is freedom to profess your own conscience and religion or practice your religion, wherein we, with consensus, be it the Supreme, be it the Judiciary, or be it the Parliament or the Executive, have to build consensus on how we want to navigate with this issue. Simply approaching the court to decide on this issue negates our democratic nature and also, is a contravention to the Article 44, which provides for the development of a uniform civil code, which again is upon the legislative to decide upon and act upon, where there can be constructive debate and discussion held.
And what do you think? What should be our call on this as a society?
So what I believe is this is not a very small process that a law is passed and a radical change will come. We need to re-educate students and we need to inculcate the learnings from the roots itself. And speaking about changes, we have seen hard changes coming through. We have seen Sati Pratha going on. We've seen the Hindu Code Bill coming in and bringing out major changes, bringing out major reforms. So if we just say that our country has been a patriarchal society per se, so we need to change that as well, and I think that change will take shape in a longer run. I don't see a very major change coming in the next 2-3 years. What I assume is it will be a very long task for us to bring a change and for the acceptance of the decision.
Okay, so what kind of change do you think can happen?
So first of all, there are two sides of the coin. there might be a case where they're very well accepted. There's nothing as such a problem. They're just probably living as normal couples rather than same-sex couples, or there might be a strong resistance against it. But in any of the case, we need to come up against them. And what I see is like earlier we were resistant towards removing triple talaq, but we came over that as well. We had various practices in our religions. We came over that as well. So I see that it will be a very normalized thing in the future, and the society will accept it accordingly.
So I just want to ask one question, and I will quote one example here. Say there is a homosexual couple and they are to adopt a child. Okay. So first thing, what would be the legalities in that? First thing. Second, don't you think the child would be bullied because Indian society has been structured in a very hetero way, and there will not be a lot of acceptability when we talk about in terms of practicality and not exactly whatever is written. We are talking about when we are going out, we are meeting people, we are talking to people, we are thinking that this is what Indian society is, this is how people function. Don't you think that child would be bullied and can actually end up having some probably psychological issues or some distorted way of upbringing mentally?
So, firstly, talking about the legal aspect, so some of our laws are, not very gender neutral. So, if you speak about adoption of a girl child, the ARCA, the Code 5 of that says that unmarried male cannot adopt a girl child. So, if there's a male couple, so that might be a problematic thing for them as well. So we need to frame our laws in a very gender neutral ways, so that adoption and other legal aspects can be solved out. And speaking about the bullying aspect and the child's mental health, there have been cases where a child's mental health has been affected by the fights of their own parents, even if it's a normal marriage.
Okay, but that is very rare. That is rare in the sense it's not a regular phenomena that you might get to see every day. But what I am focusing on, or what I am trying to tell you, is that is something which is more likely to happen.
Yeah. So if you see in 1950s or 60s, intercaste marriages were seen as a very, very major taboo. People used to not attend those marriages, and they used to not even talk to those couples. But now, as we see, as the time passing by, we have got an acceptance for that as well. So if we see in the longer run, as I said before, it will be accepted. Yes, there might be problems during this short span of time, but I think it will be accepted, and we can inculcate these things in our education system, so that a child is not bullied for having a same-sex couple parent group.
So my point here is when we are going ahead with a structured marriage, with a heterosexual marriage, laws are there. So we know how property is to be distributed, or how alumni is to come, and all those things are there. So at least people got together and did not work, but it might get difficult emotionally, but otherwise the line of rule and everything is clear in front of them. But what would happen in case of homosexual marriages, where there are no such laws?
Yeah, we can make a community for those particular people, and from their community we can ask them for making laws, rules, and it's like what if they got end up in divorce. So yeah, they can make a community instead of going for the legislative laws. And our judiciary is not ready to make laws for the same-sex marriages. How we can think for they make laws for the divorce?
इसमें कह सकते हैं कि एक तरीके जुडिशरी के लूप होल्स हैं जो कि इनको सोशल कॉज ना समझ के ये लोग इग्नोर एक तरीके से कर देते हैं। मेरा ओपिनियन यही है कि लेजिस्लेचर को भी कमेटी करनी चाहिए, जैसे सानिध्य ने बताया, और इसका एक सोल्यूशन आना चाहिए।
So what I think is, rather than getting this thing through the judiciary, it should be processed through legislative people, so that so that they can form a committee. They can take the opinion of people. They can research about it, and a report should be presented on so as what should be the laws, what should be the defining characteristics of that marriage, how the separation should be conducted, and so that everything is clear and fair to everyone. If 5 people sitting in a courtroom decide how will 2 people get divorced, it will be very unfair to them and to the society as well.
There would be other issues also, like property issues and legal issues. So we anyway have to sort that out yet.
Exactly. Picking up from what I've said before, as to those particular issues that you have mentioned, they have been laid down in the personal laws of various religions and various other sects of other religions. However, to codify everything right now is a mammoth task, I get it, but there is political will. We have seen that how my fellow dear friend here said that triple talaq was repealed, was struck down through uniform civil code. So there is political will. We have witnessed that through several governments to come up with a codified common law for various socio-religious belief systems.
Basically, should judiciary decide, or MPs who are actually part of the society and actually they are going meeting people and they are much more in number as compared to the judiciary, which is actually working on this verdict. So what do you think? Who is more important here? Those judiciary is more important here, where which is basically a very reduced size of people, or MPs or legislature, which has a substantial amount of people and they are representing entire India and they are coming from different states and they are actually the one who are in touch with people of India. And having said that, they know the sentiments of people, they know the sentiments of society, they know the sentiments and the religious values. So what would you, all four of you, anyone can take this question, what would you like to quote on this or comment on this?
See, the petitioners who are invoking Article 21, which is right to life and liberty, are also undermining Article 50, which provides for separation from the legislative, executive and judiciary, wherein it is provided for that when it comes to deciding upon the subjects of legislation, it is the parliament or the state legislators that have the mandate to do so, and it is the democratically elected representatives who are supposed to decide on how to go about the daily sort of life of people and decide as to the nature of dignity and nature of respect and equality that they are going to accord to the people. So since I feel that this
is as per the article, as per the constitution. What are your views on this? What do you feel about this?
So that is what I feel. The constitution already resolves this issue. When if any uncertainty or doubt arises, the constitution has already provided for a resolution wherein clearly it is stated in Article 50 that there has to be a separation among the powers. This is called the doctrine of separation, in fact, wherein each organ of our democracy is to keep a check on another. And I feel that the legislative is constitutionally mandated to act on and legislate. In fact, I can provide you with statistics wherein in 29 countries it is through national legislation that same-sex marriage has been legalized. So I don't think India, being the largest democracy in the world, should be an exception.
So what I think is this might be a case of judicial overreach. So when we saw the Sabrimala case, the Supreme Court intervened and allowed the entry of women into the temple, whereas a temple is a private place of worship. So I don't think so. And bringing down it to the crux, the work of Supreme Court is to interpret laws and not to create them. So it would be a better thing if our MPs decide and formulate an act according to it, because in that process there will be committees, there will be readings, there will be rereadings, and there will be amendments according to the convenience of publics. So if per se Supreme Court comes up and says again that we are criminalizing 377 again, so that wouldn't be acceptable to the society. So I think Supreme Court coming in, intervening and bringing up laws or rules is a breach of power and is an acute case of judicial overreach.
Yeah, so I would like to say I'll go with it. For this decision, I will say ki this will go with the judiciary, just because I feel I haven't heard of any MP of any member who are come up with the neutral opinion. They might be against of this, or they have a very degrade opinion on this thing.
It's not about opinions. First thing, it's not about opinions. It is about who is representing what. and who is representing the largest section of the society. So that is the thing. It is not very individualistic right now, but it is more from the point of view of the country. And when we say point of view of the country, everyone needs to be included. Even people coming from villages need to be included, and people who are from metropolitan, they need to be included. And that is the question here, that a few people should be doing that or larger section of people should be doing that.
लेजिस्लेचर का भी ओपिनियन इसमें आना चाहिए क्योंकि वो पूरी कंट्री को रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं, लेकिन जो फाइनल डिसीजन है वो जुडिशरी के ही अंडर में हो.
ओके, सो बेसिकली लेजिस्लेचर को अपना जो भी पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू है वो रखने का मौका मिलना चाहिए. Let's talk about how would the society be restructured, say this laws to pass. How do you see the future then?
When we say about same-sex marriages, many people say that कि ये हमारी सभ्यता के खिलाफ है या फिर ऐसा है. But I'd like to remind them that we have deities and temples specially allocated for transgender people, where a straight man or a straight woman cannot enter. We have deities who are gender fluid, and we've had a tradition of debating. We have had a tradition of discussing things. So if we blatantly say that same-sex marriages should not be allowed, it would be very unfair. And if we blatantly say that same-sex marriages should be not allowed, that is also unfair. So I mean, there should be proper discussions and proper conclusion to the conversation, and not just anyone coming up and saying that I want this law and I want to marry someone. And in India, marriage is not just an paper signing thing. We consider marriage as an institution. So I think that things should also be kept in mind while we discuss these things.
With regards to certain few media articles that have come up, wherein the Honorable Chief Justice has also mentioned that there is no data to prove that demanding for same-sex marriage is an urban elitist demand. But that thing can be flipped on its own head and said that there is no data out there to even count as to how many transgenders are out there. So I think instead of going up to court, forming a batch of petitioners and arguing that how you can't open a joint bank account, the focus should rather be on organizing the transgender community, empowering them to an extent where they're financially independent, and also through legislation such as the Transgender Protection of Rights Act 2019 to lead so that transgenders can lead from the front when it comes to their development and their future. Just so you can frame a sentence or two in English and argue in court doesn't mean that you represent the interests of the majority. And that being said, it is also upon you to decide whether or not you would like to take your community forward in resolving these issues, rather than just approaching court and circumventing the constitutional procedure laid down by our, of course, by a constitution that has stood the test of many times.
ये टोटली डिपेंड करता है लोगों की मेंटलिटी पे, और लोगों की मेंटलिटी डिपेंड करती थी पहले के टाइम पे लॉ एंड ऑर्डर पे, जिसको धर्म बोला जाता था. अगर आज के टाइम में देखा जाए तो बहुत सारी चीज़ें सोसाइटी में चेंज हो गई है. तो अगर उसी लॉ एंड ऑर्डर को अगर थोड़ा अपग्रेड करा जाए सोसाइटी के हिसाब से, तो ऐसे इश्यूज आएंगे ही नहीं इतना.
Definitely a very fruitful discussion, and definitely I also understood youngsters' point of view, and I am sure it was a fruitful discussion and different point of views, and we represent the democracy, and we are together in the same country, and yet we have so many different views. So good to know that. Glad to see all of you together here, and thanks a lot for giving us your precious time. Thank you. So that was our discussion on same-sex marriages, and that was a discussion with college students who had different views on it. I hope this would be a fruitful conversation for you, and you will probably get to know few other points also, will understand a lot of point of view of different people as well. So ending on that note, this is Avantika Kansal and you are watching New India Junction, and if you like this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to New India Junction.